It is the end of summer, and before we know it, fall is going to be upon us. There are some simple things that you can do in your garden and yard space right now to ensure that you have a fantastic fall and a wonderful spring. Stay tuned. Hey friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. I am Jenny, and today we're just going to have a little chat in the front yard about things that you can do in your garden, in your yard right now that's going to ensure that you have a gorgeous fall, winter, and even next spring and summer. So, it is no surprise that it is August in the South and it is hot, it is humid. We're all a little weary of the heat and the humidity, and so are our plants. So we are obviously standing here in front of our house in our front yard, and one thing that you can start thinking about right now is your grass, because a lot of us in this area do have fescue grass. Fescue is a cool weather grass, so the best time to reseed and take care of your grass is in the fall. Now, if you have hot weather grass, Bermuda and Georgia and those kinds of things, you don't care for it in the fall, you care for it later on in the spring and the summer. But we have fescue. One of the things that you can do right now is you can actually give your grass a summer revitalizer fertilizer. We had to do that actually for the first time here at the house, and the grass responded beautifully because one of our unnamed children happened to cut the grass and cut it probably about 2 inches below what they were supposed to cut it, and they scalped the grass. I mean, it was brown, it looked horrible. Jerry about had a heart attack. But with lots of good water and that summer revitalizer fertilizer, it has bounced back and it is gorgeous. You can do that now because it has iron in it. And so iron helps green up the grass, it strengthens it, because here in a couple of weeks, we are going to cut this grass down really low, get rid of the weeds, and we're going to aerate it and plug it with new seed. So you want to get your root system as strong as you possibly can. So if you want to plant grass, fall is the best time to do it for those cool weather grasses like fescue. So start thinking about that, and we're actually going to do an in-depth video on all the steps that you need to take to prepare your lawn and exactly how you do that. So stay tuned for that. But just be thinking, fall, if I want to redo my grass, that's the time to do it. Another thing that you can do right now is any perennials or annuals that are just looking a little sad and weary, go ahead and clean them up. I know we did a video of our daylilies, and so there's this massive hedge that's actually directly right in front of me, and they were absolutely stunning and gorgeous when they were in full bloom, but all those blooms are now those simple dead looking stalks. Scapes are what we call them. So this is a great chore for your kids to go do. Send them outside and have them pull all of the daylily scapes out, and then go either throw them away in the trash or your compost bin or whatever. But by cleaning up your daylilies and getting rid of all of those scapes, it really just tidies everything up and makes it look very nice. So any kind of spent perennials, go ahead and trim them up, clean them up, and just make them neat and tidy. Your annuals, I know that I have annuals that are in the ground and containers, and they're just sad. I mean, they're just done. I have some petunias that I have not kept up with. It's not the plant's fault, it's Jenny's fault. And they're looking sad. So I am going to take them out because, in my opinion, it is far a prettier scene to have a neat and tidy space with, as opposed to dead plants in there. So go ahead and clean them up. This is a great time. You can go ahead and put out some fresh mulch. You can put out some fresh pine needles. Just freshen things up. Neat and tidy goes a long, long way. Now, if your yard is anything like my yard, your annuals may be suffering, but your weeds are not. Weeds are in all of their glory right now, and that could be a full-time job just pulling weeds. But again, having it neat and tidy makes a massive difference. You could have the most minimal landscape and it be neat and tidy and it would be gorgeous, as opposed to having a ton of plants in there but they're all covered in weeds. So a great time to do it is this time. We're right here at dusk. This is one of my favorite times to be out in the yard because it's the end of the day. It's quiet. Maybe your kids are already in bed or they're watching TV or whatever, and you can just kind of slip outside and have some quiet time outside. Or if you're an early bird, get up a little bit earlier, go outside, spend 30 minutes, pick an area that you want to work on, get that area cleaned up, then go in, get a shower, go about your day, and have a fantastic day. And you're off to a great start because you feel accomplished and you've got something done. With all the rain we've been getting lately, those weeds are going to come out a little bit easier. And it is far easier to pull a baby weed as opposed to a ginormous weed. So get them while they're young and they will just come right out of the ground. So definitely take care of those weeds, because if you don't and you let them go to seed, then they're going to spread seeds everywhere and you're going to have even a more massive problem on your hands. So be sure you take care of that. Now, thinking about fall, it is the middle of August, and before we know it, it is going to be September, October, November. It's crazy how time flies these days, but this is the perfect time to be thinking of, do I want to have any new shrubs, perennials, or trees in my yard? This is the perfect time to start planting and then planting those big items in your yard, because we are in North Carolina and we can plant well into the fall. Again, September, October, November, even the 1st of December are great times to plant. You plant your trees, shrubs, and perennials in the fall. That way they can have all winter for their roots to grow and develop. Because remember, if you come out to the nursery, just say for example, and you buy a hibiscus, maybe the hibiscus is not in full bloom. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be in full bloom. And maybe it's starting to look a little sad. It's a little sad because it's that time of year and it has been in all of its glory, and now it's sending its energy back into its roots. So when you're buying those trees and those shrubs and those perennials, you have got to think in the future. I am buying the root system. I'm not buying just the foliage on top. I am buying that root system. And when you get that and you take it home and put it in the ground, in the fall it has all winter, so that way when it comes back in the spring, the plant is happy, it is less stressed when the summer hits with the heat, and it's less work on you because you're not going to have to be out there watering it constantly as if you were going to plant it in the middle of the spring or summer. So be thinking about that. Also, one thing that you do not want to do this fall, okay? Do not do this. This is not the time to prune the majority of your shrubs. So we get people all the time saying, well, you know, my hydrangea hasn't bloomed for a couple of years, or my camellias never bloom, or what's wrong with my gardenias? They are just not blooming. And through a series of questions, a lot of times people are pruning these shrubs in the fall going into the winter. So certain types of hydrangeas, remember we did this video about hydrangea 101, and we told you which ones to prune in the spring and which ones to prune in the late winter, and which ones not to prune at all. So some hydrangeas do not need to be pruned at all because they bloom on old growth. So certain hydrangeas, your azaleas, gardenias, camellias are just among, there's more of them, but those are kind of the basic ones for us in the South. Those all bloom on old growth. So that means if you cut them at any point from now until when they bloom in the spring, you are removing all of your blooms, because their buds, their bloom buds have already been set within the plant. And if you go and you trim that right now, you're going to cut off all your blooms and you're not going to have blooms at all next year. So when in doubt, don't touch it. Especially if it is a flowering shrub, leave it alone, don't touch it, and then I guarantee you it will probably have lots of gorgeous blooms for you in the spring and the summer. So that's one thing you do not want to do. But this is just a great time to go through and be dreaming about and thinking of projects that you want to do. What is the look that you want for your garden? What is the feel that you want for your garden? And just remember, gardening is meant to be fun. It is meant to be enjoyable. Don't stress about this. There are things in life that cause enough stress on us, and gardening should not be one of them. Gardening should be fun and relaxing and just a place where you can go to enjoy and be at peace. So don't stress, relax, have fun. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. I will do my best to answer them. But make sure that you like this video, subscribe to Gardening with Creekside. Y'all have a fantastic day, and we appreciate you so much. We'll see you next time. Bye.